It is now 5 p.m. on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. This meeting of the Killeen Independent School District Board of Trustees is now called to order. The following trustees are present and participating: Susan Jones, Vice President; Brenda Adams, Secretary; Oliver Mintz, Board Member; Tina Capito, Board Member; Rodney Gilchrist, Board Member; and me, Brett Williams, President and Presiding Officer. Absent and not participating at this moment is Trustee Marvin Rainwater. For the record, a quorum has been established and is present. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We're also streaming this meeting on our cable channel 17 and on the district's webpage. As a reminder, anyone wishing to speak at public forum must submit their sign-up sheet at this time. I'm being informed by Ms. Weaver and Mr. Harper that we have no one signed up for public comment. That's correct? So we are now moving to agenda item number 2. The board will now convene in closed session for one or more of any of the following. Agenda item 2A, consultation with legal counsel regarding amendments to local innovation plan as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.071. Agenda item 2B, discussion regarding board operating procedures as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.074. Agenda item 2C, consultation with the district's legal counsel regarding pending litigation, a settlement offer, or other issues confidential under the attorney-client privilege as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.071. Agenda item 2D, deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.072. Agenda item 2E, deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.074. Agenda item 2F, deliberate a matter regarding a public school student in which personally identifiable information about the student will necessarily be revealed as allowed by Texas Government Code 551.0821. No voting will take place in closed session. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. The time is now 5:03 p.m. and we're in closed session, and we will go to the superintendent's conference room. The time is now 6 p.m. and we're reconvening from closed session. No action or voting took place in closed session. No action is needed. This meeting of the Killeen Independent School District Board of Trustees will resume in accordance with the posted agenda for today's meeting. I will also want to let the record reflect that at 5:06 p.m., my good friend Mr. Marvin Rainwater joined us, so welcome. We'd also like to welcome Colonel McClellan, our friend from Fort Hood, the garrison commander, as well as our school liaison officer, Christine Caparco, who always waves from the back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate our partners from the fort. Anyone who did not have an opportunity to speak during the public forum at 5 p.m. and wishing to speak must submit their sign-up sheet at this time. It has been the board's practice before each regular meeting to have invocation and pledges of allegiance to the United States flag and Texas flag. Tonight, the invocation will be led by Trustee Rodney Gilchrist, and the pledges will be led by Cora McQuiston. I felt pressure on that name, from Oviedo Cope Hobby Elementary School. Welcome, 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 Cora. Please stand.
Let's pray. God our Father, we come now thanking you for another opportunity to come together to discuss the business of our district. We thank you for every one of our educators, all of our students and parents, and all of our support staff. We ask that you continue to grace us with your tender mercies and your loving kindness as we continue to educate our children. We thank you and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Cora. You may be seated. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We're also streaming this meeting on our cable channel 17 and on the district's webpage. We will now take up agenda item number 4, and then we'll come back to number 3. Agenda item number 4, honors and recognition, Ms. Rudolph, and we'll go down to the front.
As our trustees are coming down, I'd like to remind everybody that official photos from tonight's honors and recognitions will be available after the meeting at www.kalinisd.org/photos. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the student pledges, I think, may be top 3 of my favorite things about this job. It's so fun to get to see them each month. Mr. President, members of the board, and Dr. Davis, tonight we're recognizing students and staff who have represented Killeen ISD with excellence. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate them. We'll start with an academic honor earned by student athletes across our district. The Texas High School Coaches Association recognizes senior students named Academic All-State for strong performance in the classroom while competing at a high level in athletics. To earn this distinction, these students maintained an impressive GPA of 92 or higher. Tonight, we're recognizing our football athletes, trainers, and managers by campus. So first up, we have from Chaparral High School, Gary Adkins. And Gary, if you'll hang tight right here, we're going to call a few more of our athletes, and then we'll take a group photo together. From Ellison High School, Prince Hall is not here tonight with us because Prince completed his high school career in December and is now pursuing college and football at the next level. But we wanted to make sure to acknowledge his accomplishment. And from Killeen High School, we have Jake Kilpatrick and Ilario Chavez. And then from Shoemaker High School, we have Brendan Logan and William Thomas. All right. And we'll take a group shot all together with you guys. All right, congratulations, guys. And then we also have several athletes from Harker Heights High School I'd like to announce. Patrick Ramirez, Adriana Dean, James Kearney, Cooper Howard, Shaquane D'Souza, and Dylan Sy. Did one of y'all? Congratulations. All right, trustees, next we're recognizing 5 KISD Teach graduates who recently earned a Bachelor of Science from Indiana Wesleyan University. KISD Teach is the district's program to support paraprofessionals and instructional aides already serving students. The program provides a structured pathway to earning a bachelor's degree and teacher's certification. We're proud to invest in these individuals who have demonstrated dedication, experience, and a long-term commitment to Killeen ISD. Please help me celebrate Valerie Thomas from Hay Branch Elementary. Amanda Dominguez from Nolanville Elementary. Yvonne Villicana from Alice W. Dowse Elementary. Tara Kreinbrink from Richard E. Cavazos Elementary. And Tessa Moore from Reeses Creek Elementary. All right, congratulations. We're really grateful that these ladies have chosen to grow their career right here teaching in Killeen ISD. Yeah. Next, we are thrilled to recognize Dr. Janelle Muhammad, principal of... She is our principal at Rancier Middle School. And last fall, she was named the Texas Outstanding Principal of the Year by the Texas Association of Secondary School Principals. We're honored to have Dr. Billy Pringle here tonight. He's the Executive Director of TASSP, and he will present the award to Dr. Muhammad.
Members of the board, Dr. Davis, it's truly an honor for me to be here this evening representing over 6,000 secondary school principals and assistant principals in Texas to recognize Dr. Janelle Muhammad, principal at Rancier Middle School. Last June, Dr. Muhammad was selected by her peers as the TASSP Region 12 Middle School Principal of the Year, and then this past November, the TASSP Principal Image Committee selected Dr. Muhammad as the TASSP State Middle School Principal of the Year for 25-26. She has distinguished herself as a leader among secondary school administrators in Texas, and this award is indicative of her contributions to the success of Rancier Middle School and Killeen ISD. As Executive Director for TASSP, I don't get to participate in the selection process for the Principal of the Year program, but I do take the liberty of reading the applications that have been submitted. And here are just a few of the outstanding comments from recommendations submitted on behalf of Dr. Muhammad. She leads with authenticity. She listens intently and empowers teachers and staff to innovate in their classroom. She's visible, approachable, and always there for students. And I could be here all night just going on and on with all the great things that were said. Janelle. So for your care, your compassion, and your commitment for all the students of your campus, please accept this plaque from TASSP, and it reads, "Her willingness to take risks to help students, her ability to anticipate and solve problems, and for success in improving the school's learning environment." Congratulations to you for being selected as the TASSP Middle School Principal of the Year. I also want to say that Janelle will be honored in April in Washington, D.C. at the NASSP. By the National Association, along with principals from all 50 states. And then this summer, here in Texas, she'll be honored again at the Jostens Night of the Stars at our summer workshop, and then also presented to all the attendees at our conference on the first afternoon. So we're proud of you, and this is yours, so congratulations.
All right, congratulations, Dr. Muhammad. I know y'all been waiting.
Thank you guys for coming out.
All right, and for our final recognition, we want to take a moment to thank and celebrate you, the Killeen ISD Board of Trustees, in honor of January being School Board Appreciation Month. We've partnered with the mayors and city councils from Killeen, Harker Heights, and Nolanville, who have all provided us proclamations honoring January as School Board Appreciation Month in your honor. Got them tucked away over here. We'll present these to you. We wanted to also say thank you in a way that felt very personal, so we've partnered with Fine Arts and invited our high school visual arts students to create original artwork inspired by this year's theme, Our Future is Public. We turned their artwork into a calendar as a gift for each of you, and the student artists are here tonight to present them to you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our student artists and their teachers who will give you your calendars. From Killeen High School, we have Kamara Cruz, Yerrick Sally, Amelia Valenzuela, Vinyl Brunken, Francis Motloke, and Jessica Gallegos. And the teachers from Killeen High, Kim Squires and Stephanie Wilson. We'll do one from each school, I think, or maybe 2 or 3. Does it matter? They're all the same. No, they're all the same. Yes, yes. Okay, hang. Yes, have them hang. Y'all hang tight. From Harker Heights High School, we have Rachel Yancey and teacher Miranda Meyer. All right, and from Chaparral High School, we have Derek Pagan Pablon, Bianca Dupree, Anna Wilson, Lila Viefe, and teachers Angela Cadell, Nayli Azevedo, and Chris Rabb. And from Early College High School, we have Jordan Swinson, Trinity Boyd Salazar, Deanna Niles, Niall Marino, and teacher Johnny Williamson. All right, and so if our students will find a trustee and present that. Yes. Yes. And Dr. Davis, we have one for y'all too. Perfect, and then we'll get you guys to group in the center, and we'll take a big group shot. All right. And students, we also have a calendar for each of you, and we're so grateful for your contribution to this beautiful calendar. All right, and And students, thank you again so much. We loved getting to partner with you on this. All right, come on. Yes, and trustees, thank you again. We're grateful for your volunteer service and your dedication to students and staff in Killeen ISD. Before we conclude tonight's recognitions, I'll turn it over to Dr. Davis for a special recognition.
So just trying to start a new tradition, so we have another birthday celebration, I can talk. Have another birthday celebration with one of our board members, Mr. Marvin Rainwater. I think, happy, come please, sir. Happy belated, happy birthday, 19, so birthday was just yesterday. And so we have a cake on his behalf, and so also we have a few cards for you, and if you all would join me, well, there's the cake. Thank you, Chef. Thank you. No, you're perfect, sir. So again, it's just a small token of our appreciation for you and all that you do, your long-standing service for the district. So if all the audience and team would join me in serenading Mr. Rainwater. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Rainwater. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. So, not to put you on the spot, but hey, the floor is yours if you'd like.
Oh, I'm just happy to be here, particularly when you're an old man, but it's just, to me, it's a great district and a great opportunity to serve, and thanks to each of you who make it that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. We're not gonna cut the cake, we're gonna do all that for you. Roll it back. We got business to do. Thank y'all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I don't know what, I don't want to know what was said over here. We're going to now go back to agenda item number 3, public forum. Mr. Harper, Ms. Weaver, do we have anyone? We have no one signed up for public comment, so we'll now move to our next agenda item, which is one more time, anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, sir.
No one signed up? Okay. So we'll now move to agenda item number 5, the consent agenda. These items can be approved by one vote of the group, or items can be removed and voted on individually. So the consent agenda is A, receive and approve minutes for the December 9th, 2025 regular meeting. B, receive and approve minutes for the December 16th, 2025 regular meeting. C, consideration of the designation of 10 non-business days in Killeen Independent School District for purposes related to the Public Information Act. D, consideration of Texas Association of School Board, TASB, Policy Manual updated 126 affecting local policies. E, consideration reciprocal use agreement with Armed Services YMCA. This is the consent agenda before you, trustees. Madam Secretary.
Mr. President, I move to approve the consent agenda items listed A, B, C, D, and E as written.
We have a motion by Secretary Adams. We have a second by Trustee Gilchrist. Any further discussion by trustees? There being none, all those in favor, show of hands. We have 7 in favor, none in opposition. Passes 7-0. Thank you very much. We'll now move to 6, which is action items for consideration. A, consideration of a resolution to recognize February 2nd through the 6th, 2026 as National School Counseling Week in Killeen Independent School District. Ms. Lumar. Welcome.
During the first week of February, February 2nd through 6th, to celebrate our wonderful school counselors. Would you like for me to read the resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution to recognize February 2nd through 6th, 2026 as National School Counseling Week in Killeen ISD. Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential. And whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. And whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children. And whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves. And whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society. And whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school. Therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Killeen Independent School District hereby resolves that February 2nd through the 6th, 2026 will be recognized as National School Counseling Week throughout the district. The board also encourages students, staff, and parents to acknowledge the important role of school counselors in the overall education of our children.
Thank you. Madam Vice President.
Sir, I'd like to move to approve the proposed resolution recognizing February the 2nd through the 6th, 2026 as National School Counseling Week in Killeen ISD.
We have a motion by Vice President Jones. We probably have a tie, and so we'll go second by Madam Capito. Any further discussion by trustees? Mr. Rainwater.
I just want to say, as a former high school principal, a busy one, I always thought, and then as an elementary school principal, that I don't know the magic in being a school counselor, and I don't know how they do it. I'm not sure why they do it. But in a time of crisis, as our schools are, in a time of just endless demands on our folks, and a school counselor is kind of like an assistant principal, kind of like a registrar, kind of like a classroom teacher, kind of like a mom or a dad or a physician or a grandparent. But somehow, my experience has been our counselors just pull together again and again and again. And they do it willingly and eagerly, which just is such a compliment to each of them. And I think it's important we share those. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. We like to say they are the heart of the campus.
We have a motion by Vice President Jones, a second by Madam Capito. Any other discussion from trustees? There being none, all those in favor, show of hands. We have 7 in favor, none in opposition. Passes by unanimous vote. Thank you for all you and your team that you do for our district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move to 7, which is information items for discussion. A, discussion of Killeen Independent School District Call for Quality Schools, SB 1882, Texas Partnership Public Update. Welcome, Dr. Terry Osborne.
Good evening, President Williams, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Davis. This evening, I will be bringing our most recent update on our call for quality schools. I'd also like to just provide a prelude. I hope this is going to set the record for brevity of presentations I've brought the board. For the good of our public, and of course, these are things that you know, we want to provide context and purpose. In the fall, through our optimization decision, we moved forward with the process known as 1882 or charter authorization. We've taken several steps through the fall, and they're listed there, so I won't read them to you. But most recently, we have completed our official call for quality schools. So today, I'll be providing an update on where we stand with this process. We've spoken a little bit before about the 5 phases of quality charter authorization. As you see in phase 1, that is quite a bit of the work that we've done in the fall. In our most recent update, which was December prior to our Christmas break, you saw us bring information of bullet 1 for phase 2, and that was initiating our clear application process, which we started December 2nd. I put a red box around the area where we are, so I hope you don't miss it. We are in the last phase of phase 2. It includes utilizing a rigorous criteria and trained evaluators to review those submissions. Those evaluators will do due diligence to ensure the information that's been provided to us is accurate, and we will initiate a capacity interview and then hopefully bringing forward a recommendation to the board for our charter authorized partner. We want to provide a little more specific information on what has happened since that presentation update in December. So what you have there is just some of the things that have unfolded. Since our last board update, we have received no additional letters of intent. And again, the letter of intent is the non-binding form that an applicant would submit to us just to let us know they intend to provide an application. At that point, we had received just one, so we concluded the letter of intent process with only one letter. Since then, we have also initiated the actual application and closed the application process. That application closed on January the 9th, and as you can see on bullet 2, we received one application from the one applicant that submitted the letter of intent. That applicant was Third Future Schools, and they submitted their application on time, 1 day prior to the close of our application period. And since then, we have been walking through the process to begin the review of those applications. So what you have here is a more detailed timeline, so you know what's going on here in the background at the administrative level. Starting on the far left, you see that we closed the application about 11 days ago, going on about 2 weeks. And then in this upcoming week on Thursday, I will train the evaluators who will review that charter application. I will remind you that we utilized the model application provided by TEA. We did not create one on our own, so we will be utilizing the model rubric to evaluate those applications. So on Thursday, I'll be training a team of internal folks to look at the entirety of the applications based on success criteria. That is a very robust process. I've gone ahead and shared that slide deck with the team, so they're front-loaded for Thursday. There are 82 success criteria in that review process. So it is a robust process to review those applications. In addition to the manual paper-based, rubric-based review, we have the responsibility to actually conduct a in-person or virtual capacity interview with our applicants. Again, we only have one application, and we are slated to conduct that capacity interview next Friday afternoon. From there, prayerfully, we'll be bringing forward a recommendation on February the 10th, along with the presentation by that application partner, so that you might ask any additional questions beyond what we're able to provide you with our application rubric process. Looking ahead to February 17th, in the subsequent board meeting, we would hope that at the board's pleasure, we would be moving forward with the approval of that operating partner. And then that initiates the contract negotiation process. I put a range of time there from February 18th, tentative or potential board approval, until the Friday before spring break. There's not a formal, there's not a formal constraint on the performance contract negotiations. So I want to make sure I put that forward to you all. However, what you see there is a constraint based on the next bullet on the timeline. In order for us to be prepared to apply for Senate Bill 1882 benefits, our performance contract negotiations need to be signed, sealed, and delivered by about that date, which is March 13th, because the week after is spring break. So that's where the constraint of February 18th to March 13th comes forward. Again, that is just to make sure we're within that timeline, because that application for Senate Bill 1882 benefits does require the performance contract to be completed. And I want to pause there just to make sure there's no questions.
Questions from trustees? Mr. Rainwater.
Charter schools throughout the state are, you just had one school apply because there weren't many charter schools, or because no one wanted to do it?
There are multiple charter schools.
Okay.
I can't give a specific
That's all I
number.
needed, Terry.
However, I just want to, for the public good, remind the audience that there are constraints on the eligible applicants. They had to have multiple schools already. They had to have a background of turnaround performance. So that did limit the number of qualified applicants on the front end.
And you told us that earlier, but I forgot. Thank you.
Always for the public good, sir. Okay. So then this is our last slide, my last slide, just reminding you that we will bring another update at the end of March. And at that point, I hope to be standing here saying that we have landed the plane on that performance contract. We had a timely submission of our 1882 benefits, and we're moving forward into the green portion of the the quality authorizer wheel and moving to the pre-opening stage. In that stage, we will define the constraints and rules of engagement for opening the school within the district.
Questions from trustees? I just want to add, I appreciate your hard work and for your entire team, but this is an important step because this is going to impact learning for a large section of our kids. And it also has an opportunity to show us what may be an effective learning method for our students. So I appreciate the work of Dr. Davis, you and your staff in getting us to this point. And so hopefully we can get it landed, as you say, and get our kids to taking off.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
We'll now go to B, discussion of quarterly investment report for the period ending November 30th, 2025. Welcome, Ms. Callan Vayton.
Thank you very much. The first thing I do want to point out, as I always do, the investment report is in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act and is in compliance with our policy CDA. Overall, for our investments, the balance has increased by approximately $42.8 million. This is due for a number of reasons. One, typically the beginning of the year, there's not quite as many expenditures, and we are receiving tax revenues at this point in time. The weighted average days to maturity is currently at 124 days. The details of that calculation can be found in your packet on page 58. Interest revenue earned for the quarter was approximately $3 million. Did want to kind of give you a point, an item. Did take our annual interest revenue budget and divided that into quarters. I realize interest doesn't come in the same amount each month, but if you divide it by quarters, it was $2.7 million. So just an indication that we are at this point, at least through December, tracking on our budget. The weighted average yield to maturity is down by 25 basis points, but that's still above our benchmark. Another item I did want to point out, the last graph in your packet for the last 2 years. Really proud, want to give shout out to our Treasury Department and to our Business Services Department. We are really, let me see if I can get there, we are really tracking along with that one. You'll see in the earlier years, prior to 2 years, there was quite a bit of distance between the blue line, which is the KISD portfolio, and those two other lines are our benchmarks. And so just really proud that the last couple of years have made a concerted effort and got us very close to our benchmark. The other piece of information that's in our presentation, just I think that's it, yeah. Just the detail of all of the portfolio investments by type of investment. You can see the descriptions in this spreadsheet, and then by the fund type, whether it's general fund, building fund, et cetera. So that's it, unless there are questions.
Questions from trustees? One question I had that I just noticed, school nutrition appeared to be the only one that dips down. Is that like a timing? When I look at the balance levels, it looks like school nutrition was down just a tad bit. Nothing significant, but I just noticed, I always look for numbers increasing, and that was the one that I thought I saw a little bit of a dip, unless I read that wrong.
I'm not sure of the exact reason for that. I know at the beginning of the year, part of that gets in with like free and reduced lunch and those kinds of items, and then just school startup to begin with. One of the other pieces this year is that breakfast program, and so that would probably play a part into this as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from trustees? Thank you, Ms. Payton.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, we'll now go to C, which is discussion of the artificial intelligence AI briefing. Welcome, Mr. Heckenberg.
Good evening, members of the board. So we were asked to put together a brief on AI within the district and how it's being applied in the state. So we threw what we could together that was allowed to be shared in open forum, and that's what I'm here to share with you tonight. So next slide. Oh, I've got the clicker, sorry, Dan. Okay, so what is artificial intelligence? You know, as you can see there, it's a field of computer science on creating systems that perform tasks that typically require human intelligence or interaction. You know, most people are going to think it's Siri, it's ChatGPT, you know, it's the ones that we see commonly, but there are a lot more types of AI than most people are familiar with, and they're becoming more and more prevalent in day-to-day life, in education, and it's something we've got to embrace as we move forward. Why use AI in K-12 institutions? You can see the bullet points there, but bottom line is it's the future of everything right now. It's the future of the Army, and we could talk if we were in a different room about how the Army's using AI moving forward in a lot of different ways. Business, so I came from Northrop Grumman, I came from the Army. Both those institutions use AI heavily in their decision-making and their operations and execution. And education's going to be the next place that I work where we're going to use it because it's what people are using. It's efficiencies, it's modernization, and we've got to incorporate it properly into our day-to-day business and our day-to-day education efforts with students moving forward. And that's kind of the stuff we'll touch on here. So first thing we're going to touch on is a few of the laws. As with anything, as something comes out, everyone wants to regulate it. And so we have several laws that we'll touch on. The first being House Bill 2818, which pretty much established an artificial intelligence division within the state of Texas to help us manage, implementing this, technology and policies. House Bill 3512 established training programs and training requirements for all agencies in Texas. House Bill 149 primarily focused on risk mitigation, best practices, eliminating the risk, specifically there with biometric data, how it's used, is it used responsibly, and establishing those left and right limits, those safeguards in place for how we use AI moving forward. Senate Bill 1964 kind of gives us the overall framework. It gives us several definitions, ethical standards, requirements, et cetera, moving forward. It also gives some specific focus on heightened security systems, and you're going to see that term throughout this brief. A heightened scrutiny system is one that could impact the rights, safety, privacy, or decision-making of an organization. So, think Skynet. It's all the things that could go wrong with AI if it's used improperly. So it's when you're using it to target a certain group or make decisions without a human in the loop. Those are some of those heightened scrutiny systems that we have to make sure that there's very specific benchmarks and utilization for. For our policy 126, you can see it defined artificial intelligence, the decisions, controlling factors, heightened scrutiny. It talks about a code of ethics, the heightened scrutiny, a standardized notice that, yes, we are using AI, here's what we're using it for. It talks about social scoring, so that's using AI to assign a score based off, data that may not correlate to what it's meant to be used for. So you can't use social scoring to track someone on a camera based on their actions and say that person's a security risk without any other feedback, or you can't say that person needs more education in this, and you can't assign them in a negative fashion using purely AI for social scoring. And then there's obviously going to be required training. It's going to be completed on a yearly basis like we already do. Dr. Cook is working to make that a more robust program to make sure that as we use specific features of AI, we're implementing the training that touches on those same specific features. We can't solely be focused on ChatGPT if we're going to use a lot of biometrics because the training needs to align with our use. For our local, I just talked about, we are going to update policy 126 local to make sure we have the right training aspects in there. The artificial programs we will use, how we report compliance up to the state, which is still being determined, access to which systems, who gets access at what levels, how it's tracked, and then our periodic audits, of the use of AI. And this bottom line, AI use in the district, it's never going to replace teachers. We're always going to need a teacher, a human in the loop. It shouldn't replace student decision-making. We should still teach them the why, the how, why is being the most important question they can always ask, and understanding how it's done. We had this discussion, we were in the sidebar, must produce original work with proper attribution. There's a lot of danger there, but you still have to understand the framework of why you're doing something before you allow a computer to do it for you. So making sure they understand the originality of it. And then obviously, and I didn't highlight this, and that's shame on me, but it's, it shouldn't ever be used to deceive, harm, bully, or harass other people. So I'll pause there if there's any questions on the laws before I jump into how AI is used in KISD. Okay.
Questions from trustees?
Okay. So you can see, I talked about, there's obviously lots of different types of AI, and you can see here the chart of how they are used. The platform names that some of them you may know, some of them you may be like, what is that? And you may want to go look at some of them and Google it, ironically. So one of the ones I'll talk about recently is down at the very bottom, you'll see predictive analysis and decision support. We're coordinating with a company called Hoops AR, because you have to jump through hoops to do HR. And one of the things they're going to help us with is resume screening. So they have a AI platform that will screen resumes to make sure that it meets all the requirements, that if the job description says you must have X, Y, and Z, that the resume has X, Y, and Z on it. But because we want to always have a human in the loop, they have a person that after the system generates it, they then do a cursory screen in a rank order based on that. So they do a final sanity check at the end of it before they push it to us. It's still faster because they're screening the resumes at a faster pace, but there is still a quality control check from a HR professional that gives us the feedback on the end. We use, again, ChatGPT. We have Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot on some of our systems. Heck, our district website has a chat bot on it that you can search if you're looking for a specific topic, and that exists on the district homepage to search. So those are all examples of it. And if you have any questions on specifically, any of these aspects, please reach out to me or Dr. Cook, and we can deep dive into any one of them. And then we talked about heightened scrutiny AI. Here are some of the AI categories where that's most prevalent. One I'll touch on is the third from the bottom, the biometric identification. So we currently use biometrics in some of our time cards to prevent fraud, because we had discovered that some people would just share their login information or punch their key code for other employees, and folks would be logging in for them on their time cards. Well, biometrics prevents that, because now you're getting a picture of them logging in. So, but we still have to make sure that we have someone checking it to verify that the images, et cetera, is reported up. But that's a great example where heightened scrutiny, we're using AI to prevent the loss of money and fraud, waste, and abuse within the district. But then it's always verified through HR, through school investigations, et cetera, to provide that final check. Pause there. So our next steps, we need to continue to update our administrative procedures. Right now, it's fairly cursory, and we've got to start doing some deep diving into the specific types and how we're going to use it, specifically our safeguards and our digital review of the processes. The other part Dr. Cook is diligently working on right now is making sure, working with Mike, is that we have the right consent forms, the right notifications that we are using AI, where we're using it, how we're using it, and that folks are notified appropriately within the law that, hey, we are doing this moving forward. And then we will continue to update our curriculum to check, where it's used in STEM in the Career Center. On a positive note, how do we continue to evolve and add AI features to make sure that the kids we're teaching are not a step behind when they graduate, specifically the Career Center, as we try and get these kids ready to go out in the job market, to go work for a tech company, to go work for something else. It's no longer just about having your CompTIA certifications on the defensive side, but how are you using AI moving forward, and prepared to combine defense and offense, so to speak, moving forward. You have both capabilities moving forward with your implementation in the job market. So that's it. I don't know if I beat Dr. Osborne or not, but I went through that pretty quick, so please ask questions.
Questions from trustees? Mr. Rainwater?
I know Holly is working on the audit of do you think you could just tell us a little bit about how we're looking at that and what we're headed in that direction?
I think we can certainly include this as part of it, and I'll go back and revisit that with Gibson to make sure we cover some of this ground as well. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Gilchrist?
I just wanted to make sure that we were tracking. I know that the language is in there, but I don't know if it relates to AI use about the bullying and stuff. We might need to include that in that student code of conduct, another revision of that, and we do that next year, include that language there about AI use for that.
Yes, sir,
I just saw that when
absolutely.
you were talking about it.
Especially given in the light of social media and how easy it is to generate content, absolutely. And I will work with Dr. Wilkes to make sure that's, as the subject matter expert on the threat reporting, that he works to incorporate that in. That's a great point, sir.
Madam Secretary.
Thank you, sir. So with the information on next steps, do you have any proposed timelines or completion dates for when each of these bullets might be attained?
Not right now off the top of my head, but I can certainly add that and get it to you at the next brief and the next board update. We'll get the dates associated with it.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from trustees? Madam Vice President.
So AI is the future. We have to accept that. I mean, everybody has probably Alexa in their house. They probably call her other names now so that she doesn't answer them all the time. But we've come to use it across multiple systems. I use it in my industry all the time. So we have to embrace it, but we have to remember that garbage in is going to push garbage out. And that is just so critical for everybody to understand. And from their teaching classrooms, I think it's important that students have to understand they still have to do the work. And I was joking the other day, I said, I went to ChatGPT or something, and I said, who is Susan Jones? And it came up with all kinds of stuff. I was married to somebody different, and so if you don't understand what you're putting, if you don't understand your material and you're going out there to search for data, and then you're just copying and pasting into a document, it's going to be evident to a teacher in the classroom, I think, that the data was not researched properly and it was fabricated. But I think that it's important that students understand that. I think that everybody understands that AI is not necessarily our enemy, but just like everything with cell phones and cars that have an odometer that goes up to 120 miles an hour, we have to use everything with caution.
And ma'am, you're 100% correct, and I'll brag on my friends on the learning services side. One of my kids is in a class that, kids were using AI and got caught using it, and she sent out a note, class-wide, reaffirming it's not acceptable behavior. We have ways to detect it, and the teachers are doing the right things to make sure it's used ethically and appropriately. And so the checks you're talking about are still going on right now, because as a parent, I got an email saying, hey, people in this class are doing it, so talk to your kids. So I did appreciate that.
Any other questions from trustees? Madam Secretary.
Sir, did I hear you say we do have an acceptable use policy already for AI, or are we? Oh, I saw a no. That's very concerning for me.
Because the laws, with the new laws and regulations that just came out, we are waiting on the Department of Information Resources to publish some data. And so once we get additional guidance from the DIR, we'll use that to create policies and procedures for AI use.
So we don't even have a draft, even though the students are well into it, we don't have any type of way to hold them accountable?
Other than the grading handbook or the student code of conduct.
Thank you.
Mr. Heckenberg, what I would just want to add is just simple. AI is extremely important, and I would just be interested as we move forward and, out months of just how we measure, how we're utilizing AI to increase employee performance and how we're using it to increase student performance in a positive way. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. We want to be more efficient, as leaders of the organization, and then we want our students to be as efficient as possible while not compromising how they learn.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll now go to 8, which is discussion of future board meeting agendas and trustee remarks, and we'll switch it up a little bit, and we're going to, if Trustee Gilchrist is okay, we're going to start down on the left end with Trustee Gilchrist.
I don't really have anything to say, other than I wanted to thank Dr. Osborne and her team, as you said, for all the work they did to do that, the charter school thing. That has been amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with Manor Middle. I think that we are on track, and we're going to turn that school around. Thank you.
Birthday boy. Madam Vice President. Madam Secretary.
I'm good, sir, thank you.
Trustee Mintz.
Just want to, I think, catch up on the AI comments, and I've just been kind of processing it a little bit as we've been sitting here. And AI is a million miles deeper than cheating on tests, and it's going to reach into every system that we own. There's data privacy issues. There's analysis. Is the product we're getting out, are we relying on that to drive some fundamental decision making? I mean, heck, I'm guessing just by reading the notes that we're using it right now to record and transcribe and make notes on this meeting. It is in everything that we do, and it's there when we don't even know it. And as typically is the case, regulations, laws, policies are months, years, decades behind any of this. So we are behind already as we sit here. And I know Mr. Heckenberg and the team are working hard to do it, but let's not forget the risks that are associated with this as we attempt to mitigate them. Impossible to eliminate, but thank you.
Madam Capito.
Just thanking everybody for all the hard work that's been going on. It's second semester, so I'm looking forward to that big push of getting students to the success that we need to do, and for everybody to stay warm as the weather comes in.
Yes, and piggybacking on what Madam Capito said, I'm a sports guy, and so we're in the second semester. I equate this to being the second half, but this is what I'll call the character half. So there's the first half, which is the first semester. Some did very well, some did not so well, but it'll all be about how you finish. You can correct a lot of mistakes from the first semester if you do what you're supposed to do for the second semester, what I call, again, the character half, or you could ruin a really good first semester by just going to sleep in the second semester. So that's just not to our students, that's to our staff. This is the character half. This is where we're going to find out about you. And so be up to the challenge. There's a lot riding on it. The kids need you, and go be great for our kids. Dr. King Davis.
Thank you, sir. I don't have anything. I'm just going to ditto all board member comments. Ditto all of it. Awesome job.
Okay. The board will now go back to agenda item number 2, closed session. The board will now convene in closed session for any combination of agenda items 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, 2E, and 2F. Joey, I want to make sure I'm still working on getting this right. I need to say a number, or since I called all the numbers at the beginning, it could be under 071. I'll just say them all. That makes me comfortable. 551.071, 551.074, 551.072, and 551.0821. No voting will take place in closed session. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. The time is now 7:02 p.m., and we are in closed session, and we will go back to the superintendent's conference room. Dinah, but we're live. Okay. All right, time is now 9:50 p.m., and we are reconvening from closed session. No action or voting took place in closed session. Let the record reflect that at 8:37 p.m., Trustee Rodney Gilchrist left the meeting, and we'll now move to agenda item number 9. Madam Capito.
I move that we adjourn.
We have a motion by Madam Capito. We have a second by Secretary Adams to adjourn the meeting at 9:50 p.m. on January 20th, 2026. All those in favor, show of hands. We have 6 in favor, none in opposition, 1 absent and not participating, and Trustee Rodney Gilchrist. We are adjourned. Thank you for your time.